No, that's why we can hear it.
Are you ready? Okay. Good morning. This is August 14, 2018. This is the pre-agenda setting for the Board of County Commissioners for later on today to have the actual agenda board meeting. So first we'll start off with today's agenda, August 14th. And I'm on this particular sheet right here for everybody in the room and for those who can see us on live stream. And so I'll call the meeting to order at 2 o'clock and ask Commissioner Hutchings to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Make a motion to approve the agenda based on any kind of revisions. And then next will be the board meeting minutes from August 7th, 2018. And then we'll capture that and move on with the next item, which is presentations. And today we'll have two presentations. One is from Kurt Harding, who's the Director of Emergency Services for Thurston County, and he has a proclamation for September 2018 as National Preparedness Month in Thurston County. And is that?
Thank you. That's a yearly event, Commissioners. And Kurt will become with the emergency management staff, and he will say a few words about the meaning behind this proclamation. And it will give you an opportunity to shake hands with emergency services staff as well.
Okay, great. Any questions on emergency preparedness?
No.
It's probably the appropriate time. I mean, you can do any kind of summer activity, whatever, but there's also the winter activities. So it's kind of the appropriate moment for this. So. Okay, the next presentation we have is from the Community Planning and Economic Development Department. And so this introduction of the Building Development Code, the Building Development Center staff, and Joshua Cummins, director of that, will do the presentation.
Yeah, every so often, you directors and head of the offices, they take the opportunity to come to the board and introduce newly hired staff. And this is a time for Josh Cummins to introduce new staff that have been hired in the permitted center and the Building Development Center. How many?
The new BDC.
3? Yeah.
The old PAC, the new BDC.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Okay. All righty. Any comments, questions on that?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Right. Okay. You don't have to-
Save your time.
I'm right here. The next item we have is the opportunity for the public to address the board. Anything that might be...
You may receive some testimony related to the Hillside Farms.
Oh, Hillside Farm, okay.
And that's probably the only thing that I'm perhaps tracking that somebody may be providing testimony.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't think I have anything behind that.
Do you know me?
Yes. Do you have any idea if it would be just victims of that or property owners or whom might be addressing?
It will maybe both.
Maybe both.
Both sides. So.
All right. Thank you.
Great. We love to have people come and spend their 3 minutes and hear from the public, so it's great. Next item is the county manager's update. Do you have anything you'd like to
Yes, I
bring up right now?
have a couple of updates for you. First of all, I would like to answer to Mr. Jan Tibetan. In a couple of board meetings, he has come to you and has asked a question in terms of how much regulation is enough. And also that regulation has caused damages from his perspective to the value of his property as a result of the valuation done by the county assessor. So my response to that question is going to be the county at this point cannot answer that question, since there are many federal, state, and local regulations that apply to all properties in the county. And at this point, the county does not believe it has caused any damages to Mr. Tibetan's property. However, as any other citizen, Mr. Tibetan has the opportunity to file a claim against the county if he perceives the county has damaged him in any way. And that will be my response to Mr. Tibetan. If he's not in attendance today, I will reach out to him via telephone and I will provide that response as well. Sure. Also, a piece of great news. The Department of Public Works has received a total of $2,725,000 in federal grants. Those are including the Yelm Highway Pacific Avenue pedestrian improvements for $475,000. The Case Road Fish Barrier Removal Project for $500,000.
What was that one? Say it again.
That is the Case Road Fish Barrier Removal.
Barrier removal.
And that goes along with the intent of the board in investing some $3 as to how we can leverage additional funding for fish passage. So, and this is a good example.
Very good.
So this is $500,000. The Yelm Highway and Meridian intersection was awarded $1.3 million. The Rochester Grand Mount Trail feasibility study was awarded $150,000. And the Thurston County Mobility Strategy has been awarded for $300,000, and that's in combination with the different cities. That totals $2,725,000. Congratulations to the department.
That is beautiful. Well done.
When you said the trail, is that the Biltmore Trail?
All that will be the access to those areas, yes. Yeah. The feasibility of it.
The feasibility. All right. Go ahead.
And that's above and beyond what we've already budgeted for some of those activities, is that right?
Yeah, no, and in fact, all of those federal grants requires a 13.5 local match.
Okay.
So, and that will come, I assume, from many different sources within the department. No general fund.
He beat you to it.
Yes, he did.
Anything else from the
No,
county manager's update?
nope, that's all I have for you
That's
today.
great news. So now we move on to consent items A through I, or Alpha through India. So we've touched on some of these, and others we haven't yet. So we'll kind of go through those that we've done already and touch on them, and then the others we might spend a little extra time on. So 3A is from the Sheriff's Office, the corrections portion of the Sheriff's Office, and a request for proposal issuance and awarding contract for inmate employment services.
Yeah, you reviewed this item last week, Commissioners. And this current contract expires December 31st, 2018, and we currently have the contract with Pacific Mountain Workforce Development Council. In going through this process, the Chief Thomas requesting for the Commissioners to authorize, going with a request for proposals and also negotiating the contract. Also, as you may recall, last week you requested me to reach out to Chief Thomas to see he can come back at a later date and give you a perspective as to how this program is working. What are the benefits of the program and everything else. So I did touch base with Chief Thomas, and him and I will be coordinating a time in which he can come and have a conversation with you and brief you on the details of this particular program.
Any comments, questions, curiosities?
And the funding source?
That's the general fund, the general allocation. That's including the current budget.
Is it current? Okay, it's in the current budget.
Yeah. Because there is carry on the same contract that we have as well.
And the intent is to get inmates upon release hooked up with employment.
Yeah, it's a good transition.
Right, but
Joe.
doesn't Pac Mountain, aren't they involved in that as well? And there's another group, I can't think of the acronym, that does the same thing?
I'm not.
There's another organization that does transitioning for folks coming out of jail for employment services.
Well, Veteran Services helps some.
Right, they do a little, but you're right, Pike Mountain, and then, I can't remember, there's a guy named Brad.
You got it close. I knew there was
I
another
don't
one, but you got
remember
the
where
name.
Brad's
named
from,
Brad.
but Brad does a lot of the exit
Yeah.
services in conjunction with treatment sales tax.
So is this? I wonder if this is filling a gap, or if it just complements. I don't.
So-
it seems like it's doing the same thing.
So they're following county procurement procedures by going out with an RFP from time to time. And
Okay.
it's probably time for them to
Okay.
see what's out there on an RFP.
But maybe what you have, Commissioner Hutchins, good questions. And maybe when Chief Thomas comes, they can probably explain the larger context,
Okay.
some of the nexus with other providers.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
And Mr. Great, it's valuable. That's very good.
All right, any other comments or questions? We good? Let's go to 3B. 3B is from the Community Planning and Economic Development. This is a final plat for the Oak Tree Division 2.
Yeah, you also review this particular item, Commissioners, just to give you a little bit of additional background. This is located off of Marvin Road, includes 258 acres. Out of those is 1,037 single-family units, including many different tracts for woodland habitat, stormwater, recreation, open space. And the Division 2 includes only 125 lots out of the 1,037 lots. Also, we had a discussion that this particular development is the centerpiece of the concurrency issues that we're dealing along Marvin Road. And some of the traffic models that we utilize to determine the level of mitigation they need to provide was predicated on the model that we're using to assess and manage concurrency. So just to give you the context as to what that is, because on your dealings with maybe with Lacey, you may hear about the concurrency plan the county has along the Marvin Road corridor. And really, this is the centerpiece of that. Go ahead.
It says here, authorize the chair to sign the final plat. Didn't we change that to the county manager?
Not yet. The public hearing for you to consider taking an action on that is scheduled for September 4th.
All right, thank you.
Not quite there. Getting there. Okay, anything else? So the next one is 3C, which is also from the Community Planning and Economic Development. This is the Tumwater Sap Road Island annexation.
Yeah, this is the island that you have reviewed on a couple of occasions. I have this particular later on the agenda to further discuss.
Good.
Or you would like to discuss right now?
No, we'll get through this and come back to
So
it.
this is a placeholder in the event as to how you would like to move forward on that
There's
particular
some-
annexation.
There's some discussion to this.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that all right?
Yeah, as long as we
Come back to it.
cover
Yeah, we're
all
going to come
that
back to it.
stuff.
Yeah, we're going to come back to it. And, so 3D is from the Commissioner's Office is reclassifying, the Commissioner's Assistant Executive Aides.
Yeah. This is a proposal for your consideration. The job description has been revised to better align to the activities that your aides provide to you and the assistance they provide to you. I give you the opportunity to review that job description. I received some comments. Those comments have been incorporated. So this proposal before you has a salary increase that goes from the top scale from $5,932 to $6,347. That will be $415 a month, which equals about 7% increase. There is capacity at this point to absorb within the current budget this year, and that will be part of the baseline budget coming into 2019, 2020.
Any comments or questions?
No.
Yeah, but what is the effective date of that?
As soon as you take an action on this.
E-date.
Okay, it's not retroactive as soon as we take action.
Take an action today.
All right, thank you.
So if I may,
You may.
the effective date of the pay plan is upon action of the board. The actual pay increases can't be prior to the date that
The
this
action.
became effective, but it would not be until the hiring authority sets a new pay or grants a pay increase. So, and just because you take action on the pay scale doesn't mean that you necessarily increase the pay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because that will be up to your purview in your decision for your individual aides, whatever placement you would like to see.
We got to do
So
it
Right.
on the
it
step.
is-
Yeah.
it is up
Yeah.
to you, so it's not an automatic.
Right.
Okay.
This is just changing the
framework.
context and the framework of the position. But it is up to you with your aides to have a conversation as to where you would like to see them placed.
Okay, thank you.
So that was 3D. We're moving on to 3E. This is from the Human Resources Department. This is also a reclassification of a position. And this one is the assistant to executive assistants.
These executive assistants to elected offices, and that was in tandem with the previous action, the previous item that you just reviewed. These include 5 positions that will be affected by this action so far. It is the assessor's office, the auditor's, the clerk's office, the prosecuting attorney, and the commissioner's office. So those 5 positions, and there's also have a financial increase that goes from $5,359 to $5,932. That will be $573 a month, or a 10.69% increase. And again, each of those offices will make the determination where their assistants will be located, and they are going to be absorbing any such increases in 2018 without any changes on the budget.
I guess I'd like to clarify that. Actually, what it entails is a pay range expansion. It doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. Those
No.
are options.
So the numbers that I give you is just the top
Okay.
scale of that classification, just to
Okay.
give you the idea of the larger magnitude of this action. But certainly the actuals will be much less,
Yes.
depending up to each elected officials affected by this.
Yeah, it's the same process as the
Right,
previous
that's
one then?
correct.
Not automatic
No.
across the board, okay.
Good. Okay, so that gets us through 3E. 3F is from the Commissioner's Office, and that's approval of the work session summaries in June 28, 2018 to July 11, 2018. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Alrighty, and so that moves us to 3G.
Yep.
From the Sheriff's Office, the amendment to interlocal agreement for cooperative law enforcement and mutual aid, Thurston County Narcotics Task Force.
So this is a new item for you, but it's not new in terms of the background. The Thurston Narcotics Task Force right now, the City of Lacey, serves as the fiduciary entity. So they would like to change to have the county be part of that, and this is the agreement for your consideration to do so. Also, you may recall you took an action previously, maybe a month ago, where you created a new position because the staff person who supports this task force is a city employee, and as a result of this change, this person will come and be a county employee. So this particular interlocal agreement or amendment just complements the whole process to bring the fiduciary responsibilities of the Narcotics Task Force to the county.
Good.
And that's a captain that does that?
No.
Or
No, no.
lieutenant?
No, it's a civilian.
a civilian.
Yeah, it's a civilian. But within the whole context, there are detectives. They're part of the task force.
Okay,
Just the administrative aspect of this task force is coming as well.
all right, thank you.
I believe that comes with the funding for the
Yeah, it's
position.
the same funding. The same funding strategy that's currently funded in the City of Lacey. The same funding strategy come and be funded by the county. I mean, as a county employee.
Okay, great. So the next item is 3H, also from the Sheriff's Office. And so it's a resolution establishing position, Deputy Sheriff in Thurston County School Resource Officer.
Yeah, this is an item that you discussed last week, and this is related to a previous action that you took in having an interlocal agreement with the North Thurston School District for just about $95,000 during the school year to provide a resource school officer. And also the Sheriff's Office has approached this not necessarily on an overtime basis, but creating a brand new position. And some of the questions was, what is it going to be, on the off months when the school is not out? The approach the Sheriff's Office has taken is that they will complement that with a boating grant they have, so provide some boating activities. And also you have some questions in terms of the equipment. They perceive they can absorb that, and they have enough equipment. I think they have a vehicle that this new sheriff deputy will use. You also asked the question, what happens if this grant or the agreement lapses and everything else? I did have a conversation with both the sheriff and the undersheriff last week, and in the proposal before you is the best way as to how we move forward. And the way we move forward is in terms of this position is contingent to funding from the North Thurston School District and is subject to a budget proviso. So what it does on a yearly basis, Robin will bring a budget proviso for you to consider to put that same requirements for this particular position, but also will give the Sheriff's Office an opportunity when and if this particular agreement no longer is valid, for them to come back and make the argument to you that perhaps they have enough capacity within the current budget to absorb it. So I think it's a win-win situation. I think it's a good compromise, and I recommend approval of this particular action.
Any comments or questions on that?
No.
Well, like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I fully support an SRO in the schools for all the right reasons for the sheriff's department and the kids and staff at the schools.
Good job. Let's move on. The last one is 3I, which is the auditor, from the auditor's office, and it's the financial services, and that document is attached. So move on to number 4, which is the department items. First we have the public health and social services, and we have the 5-year homeless housing plan.
Yeah, this is for your consideration. Later today, you will have some time to actually work through. You had an initial briefing on the 5-year homeless housing plan maybe 3-4 weeks ago. This morning, I have on the agenda for you to complement that information, and with your concurrence, this item is for your consideration this afternoon to take a formal action.
Okay. Okay. Any comments or questions on it? Nope. We're going to get more here in a minute anyway. So, number 5 is from the commissioners and county managers item. We have a 5A, which is an interlocal agreement with the City of Olympia to support the courthouse and civic center comprehensive comparative feasibility study of 3 property sites.
Yes, as a result of, those are new items for you. You have not reviewed those items, but this is a result of the conversation that we had, on the meeting with the City of Olympia. So and on the courthouse and civic center project this past Monday. Item 5A, what it does is in a local agreement with the City of Olympia for them to participate up to 25% of the cost of $50,000 in the feasibility study. And the county will complement that with $150,000, which is included in the budget, by the way. And this is just the formal document as to how we can start cooperating with the City of Olympia as to how we move forward on this particular project. I personally I'm very pleased to see the City of Olympia has come forward, and not just in terms of supporting the project, but also financially supporting the feasibility study, which they're key stakeholders. As wherever the courthouse goes, needs to be located within the county seat. And associated with that, I had a conversation with Commissioner Edwards and Commissioner Blake, and I received some information related to a legal opinion related to where the county seats should be located.
Yeah.
And that language, as I read it, states the county seats should be located within the original boundaries of incorporation of the county seat. So that reduces the footprint. But also reading that, the additional document states that any expansions or any changes to the initial boundaries of incorporation, if they're done by law, also can be part of the process. So that means that if it's any annexations that have occurred since, according to the law, that's part of the county seat.
Sure.
That's just my humble opinion.
Yeah.
By reading the document, I have forwarded that to your legal counsel, Elizabeth Petridge, and she's looking into the details of that. And at some point, I will bring that back to you for closing the loop.
Did you look and see what the original boundaries were way back in the day?
Yes, I did receive a brochure.
Brochure.
And it is probably 4 blocks around the Capitol campus.
So this current site is outside the original.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. So
Okay.
let's don't conclude on anything related to that. I'm still working on determining what the legal
That's
perspective
funny.
is. Right? So, as any complex project, this is just one of the additional items that we need to manage.
Yeah. But some of the bones we find, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, we found some other ones too.
You said that we have a certain amount of funding in the budget to deal with this.
Yeah.
Is that dollar amount divided up between current expense and not current expense?
This is from the building reserves. No?
This is from Read 1.
Oh, read one. There you go.
No general fund.
Good. Okay, thank you. That's where I was going. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so that gets us through 5A, and now we're on 5B. And I know they're similar, but they're separate.
Yeah, it's similar to separate, but on the same subject, and this is just for you to consider authorizing the county manager to sign the contract with the consultant who will be performing the feasibility study. Right now, they're in the process of interviewing the top 3 firms, and I believe the selection team, which is composed of representatives from departments as well as elected offices, they will make a determination in the next few days as to what will be the firm that will be selected. This is just to be in the position to move forward within the process, knowing that you will not be coming back to have a board meeting until it's September 4th, and we just want to make sure that we keep moving forward on this.
So the next board meeting is September 4th.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions
Yeah, with the 20% business.
of the original amount?
Yeah, this is just to use the latitude because one thing at this point, we have a feasibility study for about $200,000, but it well may be that after that is completed, we may use the consultant to do additional work while it's moving through the process. And the 20% is just, is not an automatic. It just gives the latitude for the county to add additional tasks to the consultant. That is the intent of 20%.
Okay. Are you good now? Yeah, anything?
Yeah, no, it's good.
Okay, so we're still on 5. So 5C is for the commissioners to report out, and then county managers update on the calendar for the weeks to come, and that concludes the portion of the BoCC, or the Board of County Commissioners portion. However, at 3 o'clock, we do have a public hearing, and the public hearing is from the Public Health and Social Services, and this is an ordinance to prohibit smoking, tobacco, vaping in Thurston County parks. And we have Kateri Wimsett to be able to present that as staff.
No.
Did I miss something?
No. This sideline comments. On the
3 o'clock public hearing.
public hearing, and this is for you to consider, an ordinance prohibiting the use of any tobacco products, including vaping products, in Thurston County parks, preserves, and other county trails. And depending on the public testimony that you receive this afternoon, you may consider also taking an action. So for your consideration is 2 motions, 2 actions for you. One's to close the public hearing, and the next is to approve the ordinance. We're also working on, if you choose to approve the ordinance, depending on the public testimony, we already have a news release ready that will be sent out and announcing this, and also we'll use social media to outline the actions you might to be taken.
Okay, good. All righty. Any questions on the
Nope, I like it.
public hearing? You good with the public hearing? Yeah. Okay, good. Sure. And so at 3:30 today, we'll have the Board of Health, and so I'm going to move to a new agenda, and on the Board of Health agenda, and we have Shelley coming to the table. Hello, Shelley.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So at 3:30, I call the meeting to order, and do we have any proclamations or presentations to present today?
Yes, we have the breastfeeding proclamation for
we
you.
do. That's right. Forgot about that.
August is World Breastfeeding Month.
August is breastfeeding month. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, and I will be queuing up the proclamation for you with some local data and information, and then Deb Ward will be accepting the proclamation, as well as giving a brief presentation on breastfeeding and the health benefits of it. As I mentioned last week, also, it is Deb's last week with us, and so I'll be presenting her with a little gift.
Throwaway
So
gift.
hopefully, then we can get a picture and all that.
Sure. Any comments or questions on the presentation?
Nope.
Look forward to it.
Yep.
All right. Anything else as far as the presentation? Any other? No, that's it? Okay, good.
Nope.
So the first item we have is, I should approve the agenda. I forgot to say that part. We'll do that. And then any board meeting minutes, May 8th, June 14th, June 5th. So we'll go through those if there's no changes. Oh, I do see the presentation. It's printed on my back. I'm so sorry. So, okay, so the third item is for the opportunity for the public to address the board. Is there any issues you might know of ahead of time?
I'm not aware of any, sir.
No, other than it's hot out there, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And the rain is on the way. Item number 4, department items, is a Thurston Thrives update, community schools efforts as part of Education Resilience Action Team strategy. And Liz will be here to be able to.
Yes, she will.
Look forward to that one. Child and family community wellness. Any comments or questions on that?
No.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Put Liz behind the microphone. Be great. Item number 5 is another department item. Is back to school prevention, health and safety, CEEP partnerships. Can you tell us what CEEP is in a little bit? And Liz is going to do that also. But what is CEEP?
That is our KEEP program, the Community Engagement for Evidence-Based Partnerships. So it's it's primarily our prevention program that is within the Child, Family, and Community Wellness Division.
Okay. We'll have lots of questions on that. Any questions?
No.
No? So far, no questions. Okay, item number 6 is another item for back-to-school immunizations, and I think Dr. Wood is going to present some of this, or?
Yes, yes, Dr. Wood and Jennifer Dixon will be.
Oh, Jennifer, I see Jennifer there. too,
Yes.
Yeah. Back-to-school immunizations, any comments? No?
Nope.
No, so far, we're doing good. Item number 7 is the Foundations of Public Health Services. And so from the health, environmental health, we have Art Story and Washington State Association of Local Public Health Officials. Is it Jamie Bowden?
Yes, and actually there's a change to that. Art will not be here today as he's on vacation, so I will be introducing Jamie.
Okay. And just for 30 seconds, so give a brief background of what Foundations of Public Health Services, because I know it's a lot of things at once, but just for the public's viewing.
Yes, Jamie's going to be talking about WSALFO's successful efforts that we had last legislative session and upcoming plans for making requests to the legislature to fund foundational public health services, which includes core essential services that only public health provides. So that includes things such as communicable disease investigations, vital records, environmental health, and other essential activities. So she's going to give an overview about that and be available to answer any questions that you may have.
Great. Any comments on Foundation of Public Health? No. Okay, item number 8 is for any of the board members to present anything they might have seen out or heard from the community as far as a health or social issue or services. So whatever you want to talk about that. And then number 9 is the director's report. Number 10 is the health officer's report. Any comments or questions to any of that?
No, sir.
Nope. How about you, Romero? Anything? Robin?
Looking forward to the proclamation myself.
Yep. It's all good stuff.
Me too. Thank you so much.
All righty. We're going to move on to the next agenda item. Thank you so much, Shelley and Lydia. So the next item we have I'm back to the pre-agenda agenda. So that's the proclamations and awards. We already kind of.
We went through that but on September 11th, we will be having a proclamation on that agenda, and that will be to celebrate the National Day of Service and Remembrance. I've reached out to the Sheriff's Office and to the various fire departments